What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 12 of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We're going to be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this episode, and we're going to do a real quick recap. And it's going to be a little vague, I guess, because there's a lot of little details in this episode, but basically the big things that have happened in this episode is the veil, at least on the outside, has been destroyed. It's gone now, so they can freely move around after fighting the little Bronson-looking dude. They destroyed that. While they did that, May was her name? Chick with the hair? She's down in the subway tunnel still, dispatching the dude that she had been fighting before, and pretty much talking about how she had to be proficient in combat because she only had an ability of like crows and stuff like that, so she wanted to make sure that she could hold up to any challenges that came without that power, which is a little bit of insight on her character. So yeah, she's taking that dude out. We find out up on the rooftop that something happened that you kind of guessed on, and it seems like you were right, but we didn't really get to play around with that too much. The grandson of the seance grandma essentially merged souls with the body of Megami's assassin dad, and he ended up taking over that grandson, and she started ordering him to go take out sorcerers. And around this time, we find out that he has taken over the body, and he takes out a sorcerer with her first. So, with a really cool effect of him being really fast as fuck, because he just kind of teleports right next to her and takes her out. So now he's in play. Very interesting. Megami and Yuji both are able to save, I think his name's Ino-san, the guy who was up top fighting the guy originally. He is in really bad shape, but he's not dead, so that's about as far as we know with that character so far. And they end up splitting up. I don't remember the details of that, though.
Megami was going to go take him outside of the area to get him patched up, and he told Yuji to go forward and but not to get killed.
Yeah. Okay. So that's happening. Let's see what else was happening in this episode. So a big chunk of it was, and I can never remember her name, but one of the main character girls. Do you remember her name?
Never.
I can never remember her name. They don't say it very often.
No, girl with the hammer and the nails.
Yeah, her. I feel like I should know her name. And a character I don't really know, but I remember her name, was Nita. They're running around. Do you remember specifically what they were doing? Because it's around the time Nanami's walking around, he's finding out that a lot of the black suits have all been taken out.
It's what I don't remember what their original mission was, but they were still continuing that because they were inside the veil when the shouting of Gojo being sealed had happened, so they didn't catch on to that yet. Yeah,
because we hop in when they're kind of still doing what everyone's doing and cleaning up everything. They're killing curses and stuff like that. They're on their way to do whatever, and another guy, I don't remember his name, blonde guy with the hand sword.
And the face tattoos, yeah.
And the face tattoo shows up, and he's been out just hunting down people. He sees them. He is ready to kill them as well. But, of course, because of his character type, he wants to make a game out of it. And a really cool fight scene starts and goes for a while, in which him and the hammer girl fight for a little bit. Really cool stuff happening there. Nita runs off because she was instructed to run and hide, but to kind of fake him out on where she was going. But his sword, that's also a hand, is in pursuit of her, follows her, cuts her legs, dropping her. He finds out that happens, and he goes to essentially go find her and take her out. And then Hammer Girl, I forgot her name, follows him, and they fight a little bit, but he's able to essentially get a sucker punch in with his sword, punches her, really rocks the fuck out of her, and she's kind of dazed, and that gives him the upper hand where he starts pretty much just stabbing up the other girl's legs. He pretty much has the upper hand. He's about to finish them all off, and then Nanami shows up, enraged by all the people he saw he had murdered, and he just wipes the fucking floor with the guy, punching him across the room, punching him into a wall, yanking him up by his hair. This is definitely a darker side of the character that we've seen so far, even though in the first season he had that fight with what's his face that was pretty cool too. But Mahito, yeah. And we see a much darker version of him here. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in our impressions. But he punches him out of the building and into another building. And after that, he instructs Hammer Girl and Nita to hang out, wait for rescue. He's going to go try to help with the Gojo situation, even though he says, and he denies the Hammer Girl wanting to go. He says he's like the lowest level, bare minimum of who can even be handling the situation. So he's off to go help with the rescue operation. And then we see May down in the tunnels again after taking out the dude, runs into Ghetto, or at least faux Ghetto,
right.
and essentially is confused on what the hell's going on. If Gojo's in on it, she makes a reference to if Gojo was in on it, he would need to have a plan. He could just kill everybody. So she doesn't think he's part of it. And that she also speculates that this probably isn't even Ghetto. So she's pretty on top of things. And was wondering, a year ago if Gojo messed up on killing him, but then she's like, this is probably just not him. So she's getting ready to fight Ghetto. Ghetto sends a smallpox curse monster.
Special grade, yeah.
After her and says, if you beat that, I'll be waiting for you. And he walks off. The curse puts her into a...
domain expansion.
Thank you. Domain expansion, in which he traps her, tries to smash her. She breaks out, and said it's been a long time, or it's how long has it been since she's had her life threatened, and I'm sure we'll see the fight there. And then we end the episode with Yuji running down to the subway again and running into the
sorcerer,
other guy that I forgot the name of because there's so many characters.
The only non curse that was in the earlier episodes with Ghetto and stuff, he's like an actual sorcerer.
Yeah. So, he's doing like blood shit.
Magic and stuff. Yeah.
And just to kind of remind everybody, I'm sure you guys know, but just to throw it out there, he and the other dudes who were looking for Yuji all had this fun little game. Him, Mahito, and Jogo. Whoever finds him gets to decide what to do with him, whether that means kill him or use him to get Sukuna to come back completely. And so he has found him. And he's already attacking him at the very end of the episode. Hopefully, we will see that moving forward in the next episode because there's a lot of cliffhangers in this episode. What do we think?
A lot of moving parts for sure.
I was just like trying to like piece everything together. I'm like, there's a lot of things going on in this episode.
Yeah. I liked this episode quite a bit. They with there being so many moving parts, I think handled it really well to where I didn't feel like anything was too fast or too slow in the episode, which is pretty skilled to do. Starting off with the Megami and Yuji situation, that was mostly just kind of cleanup or whatever. It's nice to know that the third guy whose name I've forgotten now, but their senpai is still alive, and then basically the reincarnation of what's that dude's name? That's not Ghetto. That's the other guy. Doesn't matter. Megami's dad. Mm-hmm. It's kind of explained from the old lady that the way she does her seance ability is she only takes basically the body information and not the soul information. So like none of the personality comes through, but all of the ability does is the way I kind of gathered that. And apparently his body information was so strong the soul came along for the ride. So which was kind of a fun little tidbit. So it seems like he may have just acquired the new body and exists again. So that's kind of a scary thought because
it's scary because it wasn't even like his plan.
Well, yeah, and he was a problem for Gojo back in the day too. So he's not like a small fry.
This show just like has so many moving parts in terms of like good guys and bad guys. It doesn't have just like the bad guy.
And can't even really, he wasn't really a bad guy then, and he's not now
Sure.
either. He's just like,
The
and
free
especially now, he's just third party.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he was just, for doing a job. So, excuse me. The two ladies and the dude with the hand sword. I love the choreo because it was kind of slower, which was nice. You could see all the moves, but it really kind of emphasized that she just couldn't touch the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, she had plenty of moves that she was attacking with, but he just like was not getting hit by anything.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of like creative little takes on that too, as much as you can do with like hitting nails and swinging a hammer and stuff. And we know she's capable, so like that kind of like puts this guy in perspective. Also, that his sword is, I assume it's a cursed item,
Seems
but it's
like
basically sentient, or at least like they share a link of some sort. Because he knew instantly when it sliced her Achilles tendons that she was down, and he immediately just ignored the fight and ran right to her just to start attacking her again. So I like that a lot, but the part I liked the most was like when the sword came in and punched her in the jaw. The way they handled, like kind of showing the skull slowly moving, really kind of emphasized like that she was borderline about to be knocked out and just had enough to stay conscious. And it was really interesting, like kind of going through the steps of her, like trying to just keep her composure, even telling herself like, just move your mouth, keep him busy. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed that scene a lot.
it really drove home that she, like, just like in real life, you get punched in the face or in the head hard enough, she probably had a concussion. I mean, like, she got rocked. It showed like the skull, which I'm sure like her brain got jostled from getting decked so hard.
Yeah.
And then even after that, when she got a little bit of her composure back, she couldn't even swing as fast as she was doing before.
Yeah.
She was just trying to hit him, but she was slower now. Like, it just, yeah, they did a really good job on kind of like making it really apparent that like this isn't even like she's outmaneuvered by him now. She's not even in her right state anymore because she got hit so hard.
No, yeah, and I love the way they did it. Then Nanami, right?
Yeah.
He just kicks the glass door out of his way and just marches in like he's the T-1000. I loved it.
Yeah. No, satisfying.
It was just pure confidence. He wasn't even worried about the guy. Like,
It was fucking awesome, but it got ruined for me because all week I've just been seeing GIFs everywhere of Nanami grabbing that guy by the hair.
I didn't see that, fortunately.
And everybody kept talking about like, oh, if you're a Nanami fan, you're going to love this episode. And I'm like, okay, he's going to kick this dude's ass. So when he was, running around stabbing people and stuff, I'm like, where's Nanami at? Because I already saw the GIF.
Yeah. Well, I think you probably could have guessed anyways with him kind of like following the trail of coats anyways.
I mean, yeah, they showed him walking there too, but like I just knew it was going to happen when they ran into the guy.
Yeah.
So
But,
it didn't ruin anything. It was it's still fucking
Yeah.
awesome. I just, a lot of people are really happy with that scene apparently.
Well,
'cause I saw a lot of it.
And I was gone over the weekend, and so like I saw Nanami's face countless times I couldn't avoid it on any social media.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't see any like important stuff, so I didn't even know it had to do with the blonde haired guy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that Nanami was in the episode, and people were like posting it all over the place. So I was like, oh crap, okay, scroll fast. But yeah, anyways, like him coming in and just punching the guy, and even the guy was like, if my ability wasn't here, I'd be dead. Like he just, because you saw the crit hit thing, because that's basically that guy's ability, is just to guarantee crit hits. And then he's just sitting there trying to get information out of him, but he's not like he's just like slowly ask question, hit guy, slowly ask question. Like, I don't know, it was awesome.
Yeah, he got no info out of that guy.
No.
That guy went from like, what the fuck's going on to like, okay, I'm sorry, don't kill me.
Well, it's funny because he was like, super confident, just having fun, and then like coming to the realization he probably should be dead, but wasn't.
Yeah.
And then as he's trying to figure it out, still gets punched into a wall. At this point, there's no way he doesn't know he's outclassed, especially when he tries like a cheap shot with his sword and she pins it to the ceiling, which was pretty cool. He's out of tricks, and so now he's doing what most people do when faced with death and just saying whatever he can to survive and freaking out. So But I love this picks him up by the hair, lets him go, and we get to see in slow motion. His feet don't even get to hit the ground before he gets just hit again, and that's it. It's game over.
It's satisfying too the way they did that, because the way he was like ready to punch him as he was falling, I'm like, is he gonna deck him in the face?
Yeah.
And then he does. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's
Yeah,
what I
that
want
was
to see.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then going forward, Mei Mei and Ghetto's exchange was neat because we got to see her just kind of processing the whole situation and kind of just like being reaffirmed like she's a big deal for a reason, because she just had the doubt and instantly just through logic was breaking it down into like, okay, well there's no way it's him.
Yeah.
But then like he summoned that special grade, which is a Ghetto thing, and then she was like, wait, was I wrong? So she had to question again, but at that point she had to defend herself. So
I thought that was a nice touch too when she humored that Gojo might have been a part of the plot. He just kind of like was there for a second and then disappeared.
Yeah, it was a good
kind of a
effect.
cool little effect. This whole episode had a bunch of great effects in
well, and
it.
then she mentions him again when she's like dismissing that thought, and she literally, which was a crazy thought to have, but she's like, Gojo could just kill everyone on the planet if he
Yeah,
wanted
he
to.
wouldn't
And I was just
work
like,
with people to
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, then that was an interesting little tidbit. Another little nod to Gojo just being a badass.
Yeah. And then just the domain expansion happening instantly, and watching her basically because when you're in one, you're basically it's supposed to be like guaranteed, type of thing. So it'll be interesting to see her fight. But she also had like a crazy smile on her face during that, so you could tell she's kind of thriving on it. But she probably hasn't, as she kind of put, she hasn't really put in a situation where she's had to really try that much. So
Yeah, she hasn't been threatened.
yeah, so this is probably like, ooh, I actually have to do something,
Mm-hmm.
which will be fun going forward, obviously, unless they just kill it instantly, which would be kind of disappointing. So.
Or kill her.
True, or kill her, and then
I see. I don't know if I'm not saying she will die, but I could see that her as a character dying.
yeah,
Just because she's been around, she's familiar, but she's not like a lot of spotlight on her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see.
yeah, and it would be a pretty heavy loss, which would be
Would suck.
good for story.
Yep.
But and then Yuji finding one of the three people after him, and I'm sure we will have a lot of fun with that one, because I really need to see this guy fight someone. So, and now it's finally a one-on-one thing. So
I need to see Yuji fight somebody who is not just a fucking weak curse or goofy bald guy.
well, and that's why I think this fight will be hopefully a little more fun, because this guy is like, he was important enough to be around Geto. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, it was a lot of fun, a lot of parts. I did a pretty decent job of retaining it for once, but looking forward to next Thursday for sure.
Definitely. I'm pretty much going to echo everything you said. I think the episode was really good. I liked it a lot. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, but especially with like not really rolling the ball forward and plot a whole lot outside of confirming that Megami's dad is in fact reincarnated, which is like, okay, where's that go?
Right.
Yuji's run into that dude, so we're like, okay, well, that guy found him. Where's this go? Mei is just making her way down the tunnel. Ran into Geto, which is probably not the first person you want to run into.
It's also kind of crazy. Like, she's basically at the finish line before everyone.
She's been there.
Yeah, it's
She sent everybody else off, and she's like, I'm just going to go down this tunnel. So, I mean, yeah, she's on her way, and now, Nanami's on his way, like, Yuji's on his way. It'll be really interesting to see where things go in that regard. But, yeah, she's in it. So she's fighting something that's trying to kill her. So we'll see where that goes. The big thing of this episode is definitely the center fight with the blonde guy and the two girls, which I thought was done really well. I like that they're almost portraying him like some kind of like serial killer or something like that, because he's just been going around assassinating people. He's obviously enjoying it, and he obviously likes the thrill of the hunt, because he didn't like the idea of that girl running and hiding, but he pursued her with the sword and then prioritized finding her and taking her out because he got her. They remind me of like Dead by Daylight almost. Like somebody gets trapped, you're like, oh, I'm going to go after them. And yeah, it was kind of fucked up too. He's just stabbing her in the legs and the ass. Like just,
yeah, I was messed up.
yeah, I was like, well, she's not going to walk very well for a while unless somebody's got some magic for her. It was an interesting thing too to see, and I got to remember her name someday, the Hammer Girl, because I still think she's such an underutilized character. They
True.
really, in the first season, played her off like she's gonna like one of the three, and she's just always kind of on the side. I don't even remember her name because she doesn't get talked to very often. No one calls her by her name. She just kind of shows up with her hammer and nails, and it's kind of neat. But like, still, we're not seeing a lot from her. And so in this episode, it was kind of interesting to at least put some spotlight on her and have her have to fight for her life, essentially. It gives some depth to her character, and knowing that like she's tenacious but fallible and fucking almost got killed because she fought a dude who was just more powerful than her. But she's down to fight him because she had to. This did really kind of tee up and get ready for Nanami to show up and just be a badass and just beat the fuck out of the dude, which is definitely satisfying. They definitely earned that with having him just stabbing some girl on the ground and almost killing the other girl. So it was definitely satisfying watching somebody just manhandle that dude. Just like punch him into some glass. His foot's twitching around and stuff. He's trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. Is he dead? Is he not dead? Realizing, oh shit, I should be dead, but I'm not. And then while trying to get his shit together, getting punched in the stomach right into a fucking wall, and getting punched in the face and thrown out of the building into another building. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that guy's probably not dead, but I'm sure he's hurting. But yeah, very satisfying. And yeah, the gif that I saw in place of him pulling the guy up by his hair was satisfying as well, because he just treated him like a bitch, and it was cool to watch. It was fun. So, and then he's just Oscar Mike. He's on his way to do the next thing. So yeah, it's just kind of more layers of Nanami's not he's not Gojo powerful, but he's a powerful dude who's kind of badass. So you appreciate the dude. And yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in the next episode, because there are so many. This episode was really good, but it set up a lot of things. Mm-hmm. A lot of things I need answers to. I need to know what happens to Yuji. I need to know what's going on with Megami's dad. Just wandering around. That scene where he just like turned around and looked at her, took like half a step and was just next to her instantly.
Literally pulled a Bleach flash step.
Yeah, but it was like animated so well. A lot of times people just teleport. You skip frames and there they are. But like just the way they did it, where he was in motion and he was just next to her, I was like, that was fucking sick looking. So yeah, kind of reemphasized and reminded me the dude is a badass. He was when we saw him originally. Yeah. So yeah, definitely want to know more about that. I also think it's really interesting that grandma and her grandson are just out by by their own plan. It's bizarre. Like,
they goofed.
They didn't have to get taken out by anybody. They took themselves out. So by doing a seance and bringing back someone too powerful for them, I guess. And yeah, interested to see what happens with that Ino-san dude and Megami, Fukushiro. I always forget which name. They always call him Fukushiro. But anyway, yeah, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things happening, a lot of big things probably happening next episode, unless we have like a flashback or something. But yeah, really excited for that. And I think I definitely like this season more than season one, which we've talked about before. But, with season one, we're getting a lot of introductions to people, stuff like that. This one has like just a plot. It's a straight plot that's happening, and they're doing it really well. Has a really cool vibe. I'm really satisfied with all the intermingling parts and the loose ends that need to get figured out, and how there's like not just one bad guy with a plot. There's just a lot of people trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing right now, especially with Gojo out of the way right now. Everybody's like, what are we doing? Now that he's out of the way, like, nobody's got a plan. There's like, what the fuck do you want to do? Well, I don't want to do this. Okay, well, I don't want to do that. And then other guys getting introduced, like Megami's dad. It's like, what's he going to do now? Who's he going to work with? Because he was a gun for hire before. So I don't think he has an allegiance to anybody. So anyway, a really good episode, and next episode's definitely anticipated. So anything else?
No, I think we about covered it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about this episode? What stood out to you? Maybe there's something we didn't mention that you want to talk about. And yeah, what'd you think of the episode as a whole? Where do you think it's going? Unless you know for sure. We haven't read the manga, so please no spoilers. We want to be surprised and have that excitement genuinely. So, no gifts of people getting their head yanked by their hair.
With that.
I've avoided spoilers almost everything this whole time, but slowly I'll look at a thing about it like an anime that I'm watching, and ever since then I'm getting more anime stuff. And so I need to stop looking at anime stuff in general because the algorithm is like, you want to see this? I'm like, no, stop showing me.
Yeah. And Twitter and TikTok are both like really bad about it.
My TikTok algorithm does not even know I like anime, but Twitter or X definitely knows.
Yeah.
I at least watch JJK now, which
Don't let it know.
I hate that. Yeah. Half the time when I'm on X, I'm just going through muting everybody anyway now. But yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about. No spoilers, please. And yeah, I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Until the next episode, we will talk to you guys later.